He knew how to put those engines together. He'd take them apart and put them together.
Was he in Albuquerque when he died?
No, he came back after so long. Yeah, he came back. But Happy continued to have to work.
Yeah.
He wasn't too strong on sending him to school. I don't know why. Because he didn't let Happy start school till he was, I think, 9 years old.
Oh, is that right? What did he do before then?
Nothing. Well,
They didn't have
he
a
hid
law.
around, did little odd jobs and whatever he could find to do.
What was his name? His name was Big Daddy, but what was his real name?
Lee.
Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Lee McNicoll?
Thomas Lee. Thomas Lee McNicoll.
And
they called him Lee.
And Granny's name was what?
Julia Vandergaard.
And she was Dutch.
Uh-huh.
And where did they come from? Do you know? Did they?
Well, Big Daddy was raised around Washington, Louisiana, near Opelousas.
Mm-hmm.
And Granny was born in Alexandria. And her parents were, well, I guess
Did you know them?
No.
Oh.
Her father was buried at Elma, and two of her brothers died and were buried there. But I think for some reason or other, her mother was buried in Alexandria.
And she was Dutch. Dutch. Her mother and dad were both Dutch.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about her mother. She probably had some Dutch in it. She was, her mother was a Smith, I believe. That's not Dutch.
No, that must be English. Huh? So after you and Happy got married and you had your reception, what did you do then?
Well, we came home and he was off the next day, and then the day after that he had to go to work.
So you didn't have a honeymoon?
We didn't have a honeymoon.
Did you ever have a honeymoon?
No, not really. If you had a job, you were lucky to have a job. And you didn't lay off or put somebody in your place.
What year did y'all get? 27, you said?
Yeah.
27. Well, that was right, kind of.
Yeah,
right.
just kind of.
The Depression was just starting,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah, that's true.
Because it carried right
We
on.
got through one depression, had the 4-year World War I, you know,
Yeah.
and then went into another depression.
Did you get your news then by just newspapers and radios, or that? Whoop. Turn this thing over right quick. Okay.
Let's see, how did we get to news?
Let me see if this thing's working right now. Let me see if this thing's working right now. It is. Works pretty good now. Going in. Okay.
I guess just from word of mouth, and if like somebody died in the community, somebody would go on horseback and tell them or buggy or whatever they had.
I mean, world news and stuff.
Oh. Well, I do remember when peace was signed, you know, the sawmills were in full force then. They'd blow the horns and all you could hear them where we lived, hear the whistles.
Yeah. So you knew something was up, huh?
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't know just how we got it to the school, but I don't know how they got their news.
No, you did have radios somewhere. No, you didn't.
Radio.
No, you didn't. You had
Uh-huh.
it had to be newspaper or.
And we didn't have telephones.
No. So it must just been newspapers that were.
I guess so.
Yeah, like Alexandria.
People go to town, you know, for groceries, feed and stuff, supplies, and I guess he'd come back with the news.
Did your mama teach you how to cook before you, or did you know how to cook?
Well, yeah.
All the girls knew how.
To help.
Yeah.
Her health wasn't too good, and she had those 3 boys all had to work, you know, and I helped with the cooking, washing, scrubbing, everything. If it had to be done, we did it.
Yeah.
And it kept bored us there for a while during the sawmill days and timber, you know, go and then cut timber and,
Those guys were rough, weren't they? Rough people?
yeah, well, I don't know, we just can't remember that being,
You always hear loggers being rough
Yeah.
people, but maybe not.
kind of tough, I guess,
Yeah.
but that's hard work.
Yeah, it is. So y'all moved in over there, and then Tuesday you went back to work, right? And then,
On Monday, he went to work. Oh, that's right, on Tuesday, yes.
he was off Monday.
Yeah.
What big day, big deal, you got one day off.
Yeah, one day off.
Was that because you got married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
about it, huh? Was Big Daddy his boss then?
Oh, yes, yeah, and he was strict. He fired him one time,
Fired happy?
yeah, because, he came in late one night and didn't get to work on time.
So how long did that last?
Not too long, I suppose. I don't know how long, not very long.
Okay, so then let's see, y'all married at 27, and when did? Hi, Jerry. We're having our little talk. You are okay. Okay, then y'all, let's see. Sometime later you had Wade, right?
The next year.
Yeah. And he was born in that house over there.
Sure was. And Rita was born in that house. And we moved across the street.
To here, but
Yeah.
not this house.
No, the one that was here at that time burned down. You see, we were going into the Depression, and I don't know how come Big Daddy stopped working for Gulf Public for some reason. I don't know, found his health or what. But anyway, he
Was
went.
he a big drinking man, tough,
Yeah, he drank bad. for a
gamble?
while. No, if he gambled, I never knew about it.
Yeah.
He went to, they moved to Opelousas. See, Myrtle's husband died when Wade was only 6 weeks old. But then Myrtle was left with those 4 children. And somebody had to raise them. She had to go to work. And Granny had to raise the children. And then Matty Boy came along later.
He was born after his daddy
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
What was her husband like?
He was a good mechanic. He's not too much good or anything else, but he was a good mechanic. So, we just kind of raised I'd help her with Myrtle's children. They just grew up together. And she'd help. Mine would be as much over there as Wade would, especially.
Mm-hmm. And Rita was born in that house over here, and then y'all built the house here, or was the house here already?
House was here already, but it was a bigger house. Our family was increasing,
Mm-hmm.
and Big Daddy, they moved to Opelousas. He went in business there, and that failed. I don't know what it was. He kind of went broke there from the Depression. You know,
Mhm.
he had investments that he lost his
Credit and all that
yeah.
stuff. He
So
had borrowed,
when-
he had borrowed money probably, and then,
Yeah, something like that, and he went to work and, went in business in Opelousas, and that went through. So they came back to, Glenmora, and he said they didn't need the big house that they moved out, that we needed a bigger house. So we traded houses, and Happy paid him so much difference,
mm-hmm.
and, she.
And you just had Rita and Wade by this time, or
In Virginia,
in Virginia? Virginia was born here,
yeah.
and it's on the house that sits
Yeah.
here now. Okay. Then when did the house burn? Well, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
let's go down to your kids. You had Wade, Rita, Virginia,
And then Mary Louise.
Mary Louise.
Yeah, and then Dale.
Now Mary Louise she had club feet when she was born, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And did y'all get some?
Yeah, we got help. The Shiners help straighten her feet.
Yeah.
I mean, operate on her.
Yeah. She was a sweet gal.
Yeah, she sure was.
She sure was. And she died, what, about 67?
68,
what?
I think.
68, yeah. Okay, and Mary Louise, then
Dale.
Dale.
Benton. Jean.
Jean.
Nine Rose. Vicky. Michael. And Steve.
And you had two more that died when they were just infants,
Yeah,
right?
between Nine Rose and see, between
Nine Rose and Vicky.
no, Nine Rose and Jean.
Nine Rose older than Jean?
No.
Oh, you mean between Jean and Nine
Yeah,
Rose?
between Jean and Nine Rose.
And that was a little girl?
Uh-huh. And the other one born just before Michael, between Julian.
So you really had 14 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave birth to.
That's a lot.
Sure is.
You had to be a strong woman to do that. And then Happy had to be a strong man too,
Well,
to feed you and stuff, right? When did Happy start playing the drums?
well, he was playing when he was still at home. They had a little band at school, I think, that they get them together, you know, and practice, and some learned music, but he'd been trying to play drums. He beat on everything that he could get his hands on. That's what his mother always said. And he got the knack of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wanted to do.
This is Charles.
Okay, honey. And then, so sometime, when did he start going and playing on weekends and stuff? Whoa. When did he start going, playing on weekends and stuff? You
Well, I tell you, the Johnsons over here, they were in this little band. I think it was the sawmill people got together. They had one instructor there that kind of started a band, and he would help them along. I don't know if he helped them with their music, but then they learned to play instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And they would play for social gatherings, you know, meetings and things, but nothing too regular. Then when we went to Eunice, then that's when he began to go out and play.
Y'all did move to Eunice after you lived in?
Yeah, we
How-
we lived there for 9 months, right after
He
Dale
was
was
wo-
born.
He was working right after he was born?
Dale.
Dale, okay.
He was working for,
Central Louisiana Electric?
I'm trying to remember if they had changed over then, but anyway, same company.
Same company.
And one of the fellas in Eunice, it's what it looked like, needed a job, so they sent Happy to Eunice and sent him here. He didn't like it, and we had to leave our home and move to Eunice and pay rent, and Mary Louise wasn't well then, and she was under doctor's care, you know, trying to get something done for her feet, and we lived there for 9 months. They decided that since the other didn't like it,
So they swapped back.
yeah, let's come back.
So you hadn't sold the house, huh?
No, we rented it, but didn't get the kids, people didn't pay any rent on it. They couldn't afford it.
Oh, I see, okay. You just let somebody live in it for
Yeah,
nothing, really?
well, they were supposed to pay rent, but they didn't.
Didn't have any money. And this was, I guess, in
That was in, this.
early 30s, I guess, or something.
Yeah, something like 35 maybe, or something like that, 36. So that's the way it happened.
all your kids graduated from high school, every single one of them, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them went to college. And see, you got Vicky's a nurse, and Virginia's a nurse, Dale's a nurse, Rita's a nurse, Vicky's a nurse.
Yeah, but Julia had a chance, but she blew it.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see.
And now Rose went to business college and got her training.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been working ever since. Wade went to LSU as long as we could afford to send him, and he he was inducted in the Army. And Benton and Jean both went to the Army. Well, Jean in the
Marines.
Mm-hmm. So they all have
Now you got 50 grandkids, and how many great grandkids now? You know?
I think 35.
35. That's what's going to grow fast.
They're growing fast now.
Now you can't keep track of
I
it.
think there's about 4 on the way now.
Yeah. Well, do you remember what the first time you talked on the telephone?
Yeah, when I was in college.
When you're up at Natchitoches?
Yeah, in Northwest.
Northwest.
Where I lived in the cottage there.
Were you just amazed that you could do that? I mean,
Oh, well.
you know,
I
you're
hear
like,
about it, you know, but
yeah.
I didn't know.
Who did you call?
Somebody called me, I don't remember, this lady, one of the teachers lived in Oakdale, and she called them and wanted to know if I wanted to ride home, come home that weekend. She was going to take me home, so I said, yeah, I'd be glad to go with them.
Do you remember the first time you saw an airplane?
I sure do. I really do.
Where was that?
I remember the first time I rode in a car. Went to a funeral from school. You know, they have a graveyard out there with some distance from the school where we went. And when somebody died, they let all the kids go to the funeral. I don't know why, but they did. And on the way back, somebody there in the car picked us up and let us get back to the ride back to the road. That was my first car ride.
And where did you see the first plane?
Well, I don't know exactly where it was.
See, all this has happened since you've been here.
Yeah.
You know, in your lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
See,
But I can't exactly remember where the first plane was. We'd hear them, you know, I guess during the war they were probably practicing different places. And
you remember the first movie you went to?
yeah, I was in school in Oakdale then.
Oh, you went to school in Oakdale too?
Yeah, that's where I went to school.
That's where you went to high school? Or
Yeah.
you finished high school there in Oakdale?
Mm-hmm.
At Oakdale High?
Mm-hmm.
They have annuals and all that stuff then?
Yeah. No, well, we didn't then. No.
Did they have a football team?
Sure did.
Did you on the
Yeah,
pep squad or something? Or?
Oh, no, we just go to the games, like when they had a fair or something, you know, and special times. See, I didn't have anybody to take me much. The boys were working.
How did you get to school? How did you get into Oakdale? Did you ride the...
We rode in a buggy, horse and buggy. There's 3 of us, me and another girl and her cousin rode together.
And it was one of their mothers or daddies that brought you, or daddies or something, that worked in Oakdale or something?
We'd take turns. No, we'd take turns driving. I would drive our buggy one week, and
So 3 ladies would drive the buggy?
2 ladies.
So you knew how to drive a horse, huh?
Yeah, but I never did know much about hitching one up, you know. I was always scared of horses. But we got there when the weather wasn't too bad. Sometimes we'd get soaked before we got to school and had to turn around and go home. Oh.
Was this a buggy with a little
Top.
top on it?
Mm-hmm.
two-wheel buggy?
Yeah.
And somebody that hooked you?
No, four-wheel, just the four wheels.
Four.
Yeah.
Golly. That was tough to go to school and you had to,
You earned your.
did you have, did they use slates in those days to do stuff when you were going to school?
No, we
You
had
had
pencil and paper.
Pencil paper.
Cedar pencils, you know.
What's that?
Well, the wood part of the
Oh, I see.
pencil was cedar. And we used ink after you got to about 7th grade or something, I guess.
That was a big deal.
And, you know, you had to have your bottle of ink and the inkwell and pen.
Was the school free except for the principals and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And when you went, but you had to go pay to go to college yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Let me ask you something. You've always been real faithful Catholic. What do you think made you be that way?
Well, our parents taught us best they could what they knew. I don't know. It was just instilled in us, I guess, because there were no Catholic church there where we lived. Only time if a Catholic died, well then they'd get the priest to come to give them the last rites and something like that. And then if there were babies to be baptized, he would baptize them. And
But you didn't really have any formal Catholic education when you were growing
no,
up?
not till I was up in, well, just before I graduated, I made my first communion. But Oakdale got a church before Pine Prairie did, and we go to Mass on Sundays.
But when you were growing up, you didn't go to Mass because you didn't have a place to go?
Well, when we were small, we didn't. After we grew up, a little older, we'd had to go to Pine Prairie. We had a car then, and we'd go to Pine Prairie. Have catechism after Mass.
After Mass?
Yeah.
Well, you did I think all your kids have got the same spirit
Well,
that you do.
It's just, I think it's a gift, you know. We just received that gift that a lot of people don't get.
That's
And
true.
our parents did the best, that all they could to keep the faith in us. Papa would teach catechism to kids and teach us our prayers, and right from wrong.
That's important, right and wrong.
They didn't want us to steer away, you know, in any way. You didn't lie, you didn't steal, and you went to church when you could.
A man's word was his bond in those days, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I bet your daddy knew some that he didn't trust probably.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
Forget
them.
about that.
So he just didn't do business with them probably,
Yeah.
unless he had to. And was Happy's family that, I know that Granny was real
Yeah,
devout.
Granny was. Big Daddy was too much. He had the faith, but he didn't practice it.
And let's see, Eula Lee, her husband died fairly young too. didn't
Yeah.
he? And she was left with kids too, young kids, or are they older?
Let's see, the oldest boy, Buddy, you know, Dr.
Yeah.
Gwen, was in medical school then. And I guess maybe the
What?
next boy might have been in college, because he took a long time before he graduated from college. He didn't especially care to get a degree in anything, and he got one in business, but he doesn't use it.
Who's that?
Patrick Gwynn, or Lolly, that we call him.
Oh yeah, Lolly.
He likes to farm, and
Yeah.
that's all he wants to do. He
Yeah.
never would do anything else. And Tommy went to college,
Yeah.
and good.
Well, what did y'all do for entertainment when you were when you were
At
young?
home, when we were,
Yeah, you know,
we'd have
when you had 4 or 5.
country house dances or parties.
And then
Oh, we maybe just gather up in people's house, you know, and visit.
cook like you do
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Well, let's see, what else? Let's see, what else? Other good things I asked Big Mama that I can think of to ask you. Oh, I know one thing I wanted to ask you. I've heard, I'm gonna tell you some things I've heard about the family. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Someone told me Frank left town because he had to because some girl was pregnant by him. Is that true?
Mhm. That's what they told me. I didn't know him then, but that's what.
That was before you,
Yeah.
you know, got
Well,
married?
see, yeah, what had happened, whoever this girl was that got pregnant, her parents threatened him if he didn't marry her. Well, he had no intention of marrying her, so he's kicked out. I mean, job hunting.
I bet that was a bad thing for a woman in those days to
Yeah.
have.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to women like that?
I don't know, I guess.
Did they move out of town and move somewhere else, or did they, were
They
they?
must have moved away because I can't remember ever seeing or
Because that must have
hearing.
been a bad mark against you
Yeah.
in those days.
Oh, yes, it definitely.
Well, it should
was.
still be today, but
Yeah.
don't seem to be as much today as it was then.
isn't. No.
I think it is, but I don't know what that means. But
I don't know, but they didn't discuss that too much. And I don't know where the girl lived or what happened to her after. I just remember him saying that's the reason Frank.
so Happy worked, and you always had to take care of the kids and stuff. So you never have really worked since you taught school, right?
No.
You had some boarders, I think,
Yeah,
during
that
the war.
was-
Yeah. And when did this house burn? The first time the house burned down here?
Wait, let me think. Oh, it must have been,
Let's see. You had Wade and Virginia, Wade and Rita, and then Virginia was born here, and Mary Louise. You said Mary Louise was sick when y'all moved down to Eunice.
well, she wasn't.
It's not sick, but I mean she had her legs were
she
messed
held
up.
it,
Yeah. And then y'all moved back here before the house burned down, or it burned down
Yeah,
before?
before. And,
So you went to Eunice and came back, then it burned down.
mhm.
And you got all the kids out. Did that happen in the middle of the night too?
No, it happened in the, around noon, or before noon.
What caused that fire?
Well, it's something about the flu, I think,
You had a
we had a wood stove.
Okay. You didn't have electricity or?
Not then. No gas, no, electricity.
So something happened, flew,
Yeah.
or ashes got loose. Then what happened?
Birds, I think, built around the, chimney
Yeah.
or something.
Then what, was that when this house was built? No, this
No,
house,
this, we got that other house that burned in,
when Vicky was a little
39,
girl.
I believe. Yeah, no.
No, it wasn't 39, because
40.
Vicky was born.
Yeah.
Vicky's a little girl, she remembers it. Name was 49. Well, Vicky can remember that, she'll know when that was.
Well,
She said Steve was born.
yeah, Michael was,
Yeah,
just a little top then.
yeah.
Because he was sleeping with Wade, and I was scared to death. I just panicked. I thought he was still in the house when we went down. And then hollered, he had me back, not to go inside to look for him.
Who did?
Well, different ones that knew he was out of the house. Wade had picked him up, moved him out.
Well, I bet it must have been a sickening feeling in your
And
stomach
it
when
was
you,
supposed 5 degrees.
huh?
5-degree temperature.
Ooh. That was hot water heat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Exploded or something. God. And let's see, then the whole town just got together and built another house, right?
No, well, we paid for the house.
Well, I know
But
that,
they gave us clothes and all kinds, everything. Not everything we need, but a lot of the stuff that used to have.
When you first came to Glenmora, was that old church that used to be down there? That the one that ended up being apartments,
Yeah.
when I remember.
That
That was